Hello again, everyone. It's Jake and Liz here from Westcott's, and we are going to discuss with you payroll past. And firstly, we're going to start with the first ever records of payroll in 3200 BC, in a small place in Iraq called Mesopotamia, which is in Mesopotamia, which is
Yeah.
somewhere I've certainly never heard of before. I don't know about you, Liz, but it's oh, I think your microphone's gone a bit funny there, Liz. Sorry, um, it just crackled. So yeah, back along then there was some paper records found. Um, Following on from that, it was in 7000 BC in ancient Greece where the first payroll systems were identified. Um, and then modern payroll emerged in the
So
Industrial
what would
Revolution.
it what would have been the payroll systems that we used back in Greece then? Do you know?
No, I couldn't find anything. I mean, I would assume it was all still very manual, but there must have been some form of,
Like bartering, I would have thought.
understanding. Yeah, there would
Yeah,
have
I don't know
been.
whether it would be money, but it would be bartering. If
Yeah,
if you if you come and plow my field, I'll give you so much of the crop when it's harvested, I guess. Something
yeah,
like that.
yeah. It's very interesting, isn't it, to
Yeah.
wonder what it was like back in those days. But yeah, so the modern payroll emerged in the Industrial Revolution in the 18th century. And the term payroll started in that period as well. It became more commonly used in and around the 1740s. And then finally, to within the last 100 years, shall I say, PAYE was introduced in 1944. And it was made for employers to collect taxes. It became an easier way of it being processed. They trialed a few tax systems prior to that, and none of them had worked quite as successful. So that was the introduction of PAYE. National insurance was introduced a bit before that in 1911. And I know you've discussed this before, Liz, and the highest rate of national insurance during the Second World War was 99.25%. Could you
No,
imagine paying
crazy.
that?
I know, I know, I
You're not
know,
getting
I
much pay
know.
from that, are you?
Yeah, lot. Yeah, and the first computerized system was in the 1950s.
Yeah,
But even
shortly after
though,
PAYE.
yeah, even though it was computerized, it was pretty much manual right up until 2012, wasn't it, when RTI was introduced? So that's a long time. So, I mean, I remember processing payroll when I first started processing payroll. I did it with all the books and the P11 card and handwriting it out and looking up the tables, getting the right tax, getting the right national insurance, and working it all out if they were higher paid for national insurance. You had to do this funny little calculation to make sure that the national insurance was correct. Yeah, so fun times. And then when it came to the year end, you had to create the P14s, which were sent off to HMRC. So you had the NIC P14 and the tax, and they were all sent, and then they were sent off to separate departments within HMRC. And then the P60, which is what everybody is most um, aware of, was had to be given out to the employees. That's still a thing that still has to happen, and it's the P14s technically are still being produced through the RTI system these days. So rather than HMRC getting it at the end of the tax year, which had to be in with them by the 19th of May, or else the client would be penalised, the employer would be penalised. This now happens on a weekly, fortnightly, monthly basis, because every time we process the payroll, we have to send an RTI submission to HMRC acknowledging the fact that this is what we've done, this is the tax and national insurance that we've deducted, this is the tax codes, all this sort of thing. And it does make it a lot more efficient, without a shadow of a doubt, because whereas before, when somebody had a tax code change, a lot of the times HMRC didn't know what they were earning. So they couldn't really change their tax code. Whereas now, as you well know, we download tax codes before we process the payroll. So, they get changed quite frequently in level with their earnings or any other income that they're receiving outside of their the payrolls that we process. So yeah, it does make life a lot easier.
Yeah.
And then obviously go on. Sorry, Jake, I was interrupting.
No, I was just going to say, I think it's safe to say that the computerized payroll systems have developed over, significantly over the past 20 years.
Yeah, definitely.
Certainly since RTI's introduction in April 2012, the initial pilot scheme, but the fully rollout in 2014, when all employers were made to submit in real time to HMRC. That's it's been a huge change for payroll providers across the country. It's made the whole process a lot, as you say, simplified, certainly from an employee perspective, because it means that their tax and their national insurance is a lot of the time more correct than it would have been in previous, processes where you're having to do things manually. Tax codes are more delayed if you're receiving things through the post. If you weren't able to get online notifications, everything's a lot quicker. Submitting in real time allows HMRC to record people's personal circumstances better, which means everything can be more accurate, can't it?
Definitely. And then before we had RTI, we had the Auto Enrolment Pension Act in 2008, which didn't come into effect until April 2012. And that was for the larger companies. So at that time, our client base wasn't really affected by auto enrollment, because we're talking the big companies, that were involved, your
Thousands and thousands.
Sainsbury's and Asda's and all that sort
The
of thing.
BBC and
Yeah. So they had to enroll in 2012, and they got it wrong. They got it wrong. They weren't following the legislation. It's not saying the ones we've mentioned did, but quite a few of the bigger payrolls were called up by the pension regulator and were penalised for not doing it right. But basically, it is quite nasty if you do get it wrong. Heavy fines. I can't hear you.
sorry, heavy penalties. Yeah, no, I was going to say the same
Yeah,
thing.
sorry. Yeah, you went quiet then, Jake. Thought you went all shy. But yeah, no, it is nasty, but that is something that Westcott's pride ourselves on, our knowledge of the auto enrolment system. And we deal with lots of different pension providers. There's all sorts of different pension schemes, but I think we're going to be going into that in more detail tomorrow when we're looking at payroll presence and sort of the risk areas. But it can be quite nasty if you get it wrong. And we have helped quite a few clients out who we didn't act for previously, but they did run into a few problems, and they just out of, not knowing what they don't know, ended up making a bit of a mess, and we ended up helping them through that, and they're very appreciative of that, thankfully. So yeah, so that kind of brings us right up to date. I mean, there is new things happening all of the time. I mean, we talk about how payroll's changed over the years, but it changes all of the time. I mean, one thing we haven't talked about here is that awful black hole of a period in time
The
coronavirus.
coronavirus, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and all of the different
Furlough scheme and
furlough schemes and
statutory sick pay.
legislation
Yeah,
are changing on a daily basis, and we had
expected to know everything immediately.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
very true.
Oh, awful time, awful time. So
We hope that never comes back in any shape or form. Let's
definitely,
just put it that way.
definitely not, definitely
Um,
not. Hopefully that they've
Fantastic.
learned quite a few lessons for that one on in lots of different levels. So yeah, so I think that brings us right up to date.
Yeah, I think that wraps it up for our payroll past. And as Liz said, we have supported our clients through various difficulties with workplace pensions, with even with RTI, where they've had difficulties with submissions. And I mean, it goes to show that every client would have needed a bit of support through the coronavirus, furlough systems, etc. So yeah, if you do need any support with anything, from technical, auto enrollment, RTI, if you have any standard queries for us, please do get in touch with us. Our details are on the Westcott's website, or you can contact us. Liz and I have a shared email. It's payroll-managers@westcotts.uk, and we'll be happy to help you with anything and provide you with a quote for our services.
Yeah, so nice. Well, nice to chat to you, and we'll meet up tomorrow, Jake.
Yeah, we'll catch up again tomorrow, Liz. Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.